Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right. Hey, guys. Welcome back to our show. I'm your host, John Harcar, and we're here today with Chris Karageuzian. Hope I said that right. We're going to talk about his journey in business and also about some of the struggles he's finding people are having in really obtaining lending, and talk about maybe some more creative type of lending. Remember, guys, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, all real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their business by giving them tools and resources to build the business they want, to live the life that they want, right? Chris, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Very excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I'm excited to talk about, because a lot of folks have expressed the little bit more difficulty maybe sometimes in obtaining lending. But before we talk and get into all that, why don't you first start off by telling our audience a little bit about you, kind of your background in business, and what got you here today?
Absolutely. Again, thank you for having me on your podcast. Yeah, my name's Chris Karageuzian. I am CEO and co-founder of Help With My Loan. I'm also CEO and co-founder of Chris Alchemy Consulting. I've been in the industry 24 years prior to opening my companies. I did commercial real estate at Coldwell Banker. I've done business banking at Wells Fargo, private wealth management and lending at JP Morgan Chase. And then I met my co-founder at US Bank on the commercial division. We both co-founded our company in 2017. And some great news I want to highlight also, in 2024, my Help With My Loan company got acquired and is now becoming a much bigger company to reach a bigger audience globally.
Awesome.
And of course domestically. And Chris Alchemy Consulting is just a passionate thing I also do in consulting entrepreneurs and real estate investors as well.
Okay, perfect. Now, you've always been working in lending and whatnot, just for other companies before starting your own, correct?
Oh yeah, I've been doing this now 24 years.
What got you interested in lending? What did you go to school for finance? What did you do to get into that space?
Yeah, there was 2 reasons. My father came to this country and bought tons of real estate. So even at like 12 years old, I was typing up lease agreements, cost of living renewals,
cool.
and things. That was my summers as a 12-year-old. And no, it really got me excited to see, how I saw my father live in that self-employed, independent life. And then I really enjoyed real estate. And then, yes, for college, I went to Cal State Northridge. I was a finance major, got my real estate license as well.
Okay.
So I was a Coldwell Banker real estate while I was getting my degree in finance. And I'm just, working in the banking, I saw how much wealth is being done and still being done and made with all the clients I was helping. So, and then I saw the gaps. That's a big reason I left the banking world and created my own company, to really replace those gaps that I saw. Because a lot of the times, I would look at 40 scenarios a month and only be able to help 5. And I just said,
okay,
well, where do these clients go? Why aren't we helping them? So, that's kind of my whole MO of why I love real estate and the lending space.
Okay, and I want to come back. I'll come back to the gaps. I want to hear about what gaps you're kind of referring to. But first off, so you saw your dad doing real estate. You got your license. Why did you lean to financing more, or the lending more than maybe being a realtor and going that path?
Absolutely. I think the driving and, showing properties just wasn't the part I liked, because that is the part where you're going to have to do.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
When I saw the lending part where, hey, especially now, everything's so remote and I can do so much more meetings. But back then, I didn't still have to drive out to clients as much. They can come to my office. It's paperwork, getting the paperwork ready. So I did like that. And I love numbers. And I think that started happening when I was at CSUN. So when I started getting into finance, I just natural thing of numbers were great. Putting numbers together, showing those numbers as the value. And again, the drive time part was the part where I was like, oh, I don't know if this is me long run, but once I saw the numbers part and the ability I can work in the office, clients can come to me, fast forward obviously now where everything is remote, in my world, automated with the technology we've built, it's just moves faster. And I love just presenting numbers and the value that numbers does in savings, your goals in your life, and what you're trying to make is cap rates or investments.
Yeah, I completely hate all of that stuff that you just said about numbers. I hate numbers. I am not that type of guy. I look at the overall 30,000 foot view. What does the bank account say? Okay, that's the numbers I need to know.
Yeah.
Do you think that getting your real estate license kind of helped a little bit in, getting into the lending and doing more of that residentially, et cetera?
Yeah, absolutely. I, first of all, renew it every 4 years. It's inactive, but I'm never going to not keep that license. You study for it. It's a great accolade also. It definitely opened me up to see the world, right? Because I was doing that at Coldwell Banker while I was at Cal State Northridge. And it let me see the industry. I did some residential deals, but I really did like commercial more. So even though I was debating, do I stay in real estate? I definitely wasn't going to do residential. I wasn't into.
Why not? What did you dislike about residential?
What I disliked is this, right? I love numbers. So commercial real estate, no matter what, is numbers. Does the investment make sense? They don't care about the appearance. They don't care about the paint of the wall. Residential has a lot of empathy and emotions. You got to make, it's their first time buying it, or someone has an opinion because the drapes are wrong or the view, and it's not necessarily always the numbers. The numbers is, can you afford it? Done. I just didn't find that too challenging and exciting for me. So commercial real estate got me more excited. So I did pivot doing more commercial real estate when I was doing residential and real estate. And then once I saw during the lending, right now my company does commercial, residential, and business lending. So I do the whole gambit. But it all ties to just doing numbers, paperwork, analyzing it, matching it, closing the deal, getting a win for the customers. So those are kind of like the reasons why I went to the route I did.
How many commercial deals did you close, or to even throw residential in there? How many of those type of deals as a realtor did you close?
For me in that era, this was like 2000 to 2007. So prices were cheaper back then too, and inflation was different. So, typically on any given year, I was doing anywhere between about 12 to 22 million.
Okay. Yeah. So in 2008-ish time frame, that's when you kind of got more into doing the lending stuff, it sounds like, right?
Yeah. So I decided, I was being recruited to the business banking world at Wells Fargo, doing the lending and commercial side. And it just, I think, as a 24-year-old at that time, seeing the opportunity that they were going to give me in salary, benefits, commissions, and vacation trips, very appealing. And it was one of the healthier banks. Obviously, I went through and what happened in the 2008 financial crisis. And, at that time being part of Wells Fargo that was lending, was able to help a lot of clients that were coming in with massive checks because of, what they had to pull out their funds with. And, some of the banks that I merged with, like Wachovia, helping Wachovia clients. And I really enjoyed that part of it. And I scaled myself to be the #1 producer in my market for 2 years in a row. And I represented almost 40% of the market's revenue, just myself.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Awesome. All right. So then you start seeing gaps. Let's talk about those gaps. What were you finding?
Processes, first of all, man, they were so archaic in legacy systems of how they're doing underwriting, using old school formulas and spreadsheets and processes. I kid you not, even in like 2008 to 17 until I co-founded my company, they were still using processes from the 60s and 70s. And you're just like, well, as technology was starting to ramp up, right, after 2009, 2010, and I just saw that. And then being at so many different banks, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, US Bank, they're all doing the same processes. And I was just like, when I met my co-founder in 2015, I was just like, I've been at, because, so many banks and they're all doing the same spreadsheets, formulas, lack of
Right.
CRM, lack of technology. You're still using MS-DOS programs to put a loan number in. I was like, there's got to be a better way. And there wasn't. Like, we researched for 2 years before we set off and opened the company. We saw, oh my goodness, like there isn't a full automated one-stop shop platform that can handle commercial residential business while using some automation. Our first iteration didn't have AI. We rolled out AI in 2022. And we just saw, like, while we were doing this on the side, brokers started working with us, investors started working with us, and they were all coming to us with the same problem. My bank said, I've been looking for 3 to 6 months. My broker can't do it. So we also figured, well, let's scale our database of 12 lenders, and we scaled it to over 300 lenders in that 8-year span.
Awesome. Why do you think these old banks and other banks were using such old archaic systems and calculations? I mean, why why haven't they changed and rolled with the tide?
A couple of factors I personally saw. You provide feedback. They just don't really listen. I think there's sometimes like they just lack innovation. When's the last time you heard a bank created a great technology piece? They
True.
adopt technology. They don't necessarily innovate technology, whether they're using Apple Pay, Zelle, Venmo. These are outsourced companies that they adopt, right? And even
Right.
just different technology that they use for their software, right? CRMs that they're now rolling into, or different automations they're using. It's not necessarily them innovating. It's also because they are hindered because a lot of banks from 2008, got, so many penalties. They're still paying
Mm-hmm.
penalties, still being audited for those penalties, and they're just being scrutinized. So a lot of their technology budget gets eaten up and very small.
Right.
Maintain like, okay, let's make our online presence, our online bill pay presence, our apps pretty good, but they're not innovating. So I think it takes companies like I've seen, besides ours, that are being adopted by banks and helping that broker, consumer, and banking world to just interface and connect much better than the broken process that we saw in 2017 and 15.
Got it. Okay. So you go out and you start your own thing. What are some of the early struggles you had when you got, started your own company?
Like with any tech company, bugs and glitches. I think that's
Hmm.
something, our CTO prepared us, but, there's a lot of great ideas we had. They didn't work the way they should have. They would break, they wouldn't, function the way they're supposed to. But it takes time. I think we learned lessons in the beginning, and then every time we rolled out new products, we tightened up that process where minimal bugs or glitches happened. I think also is the branding, right? In the beginning, a lot of banks are like, well,
Mm.
what's help with my loan? Who are you? I think what
Right.
we use is as co-founders, 24 experience from my end. Jack had over 15 plus years. Our reputation, because banks are a small world. They would call some of the banks and they go, oh yeah, Chris is who he is. He is a top producer at those banks. Jack was who he was at US Bank. And then they would try us out and they would see like, you are getting us matched at the guidelines that we provide you. It is on a silver platter. We're not wasting our time on deals that don't fit our credit box. You know what? We are going to work with you. We will give you some of that guidelines, and we are showing them all our security parameters of how we keep their data from breaches, losing confidential internal guidelines, and how we had an airtight security process and followed a lot of the compliance in technology space as well. So those are kind
Hmm.
of like obstacles we had in the beginning and how we, punched our way through it to validate it. And, word of mouth eventually just spread for us.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Sure. Okay, definitely. So you're growing this business, right? You're getting things rolling. What does your team look like now? I mean, are you guys fully grown out? Or you still got a big growth path ahead of you? What does it all look like? You just sold it, I guess, right?
Yeah, we closed it in 2024. So basically, we scaled it from Jack and myself, 2 people. We scaled it to about a 7-person team. That covered us in some processing, sales, technology, and compliance. So that our 7-person team. And then with this acquisition, we added another 14. So right now we're about a 21-person team. Long-term goal, the new owners' strategy and everything they're working on is to get this company in the next 3 to 5 years to be almost a 1,000 employee company in different parts of the U.S.
Why did you sell it?
Yeah, I love that question. I think as, again, entrepreneurs where, we know the funding we were able to secure in traditional debt financing, investment money, when we saw the opportunity that, a 7-person team can only do so much with the resources I had, Jack had, and, that we can do, right? If I had a
Right.
billion-dollar uncle, probably wouldn't sell, right?
Right.
I think we were being smart and strategic of, the right buyers with the right capital, connections, and resources will help finally accomplish the goals that we know, historically every company eventually sells or gets investment money, dilute shares to get to their
Right.
vision, right? You sometimes need to hire people that are smarter than you. You need to
Yep.
work with people that have the connections or can finally open that door that you've been banging on for years that they're not going to open to you. But this person has
Hmm.
that connection that they'll do. It's, the industry saying, right? It's not what you know, it's who you know
It's who
sometimes.
you
That's
know.
different. Yeah. So those are
So
our
how
big.
long are you gonna be working and continue to work with the company? I mean, do you have a set time of when you kind of want to be completely out?
Right now, I know I agreed to a 2-year term with them. I know they wanted 5. I think with my Chris Alchemy Consulting, that's something that's near and dear and passionate for me that I've wanted to do as this exit was coming to the closing in December 2024. So I
Hmm.
am still, doing that and bringing that complete to the market on a
Okay.
bigger level, actually on the 13th of May, 2025. And yeah, really excited to do that. And then as we'll see, because no matter what, I have my equity shares, I have my vesting period. So I'm going to still always be involved in it because it's like,
Right.
at the end, I look at it as like it's my kid that went to college. I'm
It's your
still
baby, man. Yeah.
letting it grow and become its own man. And I'm going to be there as an advisor. I think like a good parent does. They let their person and kid grow up, become the man or the woman they want to be, and then you give them counsel. Do they always listen? No, but I think that's the part where I love is like maybe in a year and a half from now, I might just be on the advisory board out of the operations, and I'm fine with that because
Hmm.
that gets me still to help this company become the what it is capable of and helping the new owners and team get to that vision because I really believe in their vision that they're working towards.
Got it. Cool. Is this consulting business? Is it, just a startup right now? I mean, do you have things in place to where you're already actively you're functioning?
Oh
What does
yeah.
that vision look like for that company?
Yeah, I actually have been always doing that on the side while I was growing my
Okay.
company. So now that I have the ability and bandwidth to actually do it on a bigger level, I did hire a marketing team. I've hired some salespeople as well, and it's really catering to real estate investors that need consulting, entrepreneurs, startups that need consulting in, scaling, mindset, just different strategies, and my playbook, right? I'm
Right.
without sounding overconfident, egotistical, I did create a company that got acquired. It's over $1 billion in lending as well that it has accomplished. And there's so many strategies that work and didn't. So it's also like
Hmm.
work gets you that playbook, airtight, error free for you to learn from me, be coached by me, and then consult as needed to make sure you're following the processes the right way to avoid all the pitfalls that happen in real estate investing,
Yep.
entrepreneurship, and consulting.
I call it the power of proximity, right? It's kind of, it's like our mastermind, right? It's, you be with someone who has been where you've been, can lead you to where they are,
Exactly.
without falling in the holes. So what do you think in growing this business, selling this business to where you are now? What have been your keys to success?
Sorry, just blazing my charger. Yeah, my keys to success, the first thing is just mindset. No matter what happens in your day, if you have your mind that is, being trained mentally, physically, just keeping that positive mindset that you're going to get to your goals, and not really worry too much about the why and the how. Just focus
Mm.
on that solution. So mindset is always top of mind for me. Number two is surrounding yourself with the right people. Just always making sure I have a network of, be it from my friends, my family, and my business associates that I'm
Yep.
working with that share similar goals. Maybe they're doing different things in entrepreneurship, investment, and I learn from them. They learn from me. And the third and final one is really again going back to health. I make sure I eat right. I make sure I work out 6 days a week. I take the right supplements because if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be able to work with the resources you have. You're not going to have the.
Yeah.
So I think those are my three things: is mindset, your network, and then healthy habits.
Okay. And what advice do you think would you give besides those couple things? Or let me just, I guess, any other advice you would give for someone that's maybe wanting to start getting into real estate investing or starting up a business?
Yeah, I think for real estate is it starts with having the right, lending resources or brokers. So I think that's what I always tell any client that's their first time is, we've built a K factor of 4.1. That means every client that started with Help with My Loan is on average coming back for four more loan products. And that
Hmm.
that hey, you can go out in that field, look at the different scenarios, and you have a lending resource. Too many times people don't have that in the beginning. They believe in just using all their cash. Cash is
Right.
king, but lending is also leverage. And then for an entrepreneur, same thing. I think making sure you have your goals and plan and understanding the timeline it's going to take to get things done. Making sure that runway is realistic. You're not going to be
Hmm.
overnight success. I started my company with every dollar of revenue that was made in the beginning and investment money I put in to ensure I had over 9 months of runway. So even though I could have taken salaries and started taking the money I wanted, I didn't. So I think for an entrepreneur, just making
That's
sure
smart.
business plan makes sense with realistic goals and expectations and given enough runway.
And what makes this loan company and what you guys offer different than what else, everything else that's out there?
Yeah, I love
What makes you guys stand out?
I'm actually here at one of my clients and I was training the company about some of our, value statements. So, our three competitive advantages is number one, we use AI technology that cuts down the lending process by 80% in time. So that is
Wow.
something where you get your yes and no pretty quickly. Number two is because of that AI technology, we have a 97% match rate, which is double the competition of any brokerage out there. And the third and final one is our lending capability that we are a one-stop shop. So that means, you're not going to have to go to different resources. We're going to take care of your commercial real estate needs, owner, user, investor. We're going to take care of your residential, owner, user, investor, and business. They work hand in hand. There are business owners as well that will need equipment loans, term loans, lines of credit,
Hmm.
SBA products. And for us, we've realized being in the industry 24 years, there are clients that fit and need all three categories in their lifetime of
Right.
lending. So I think that's how, we also take care of that.
That's so awesome. Well, I mean, definitely a need for other alternative lending outside of what some of the normal stuff is. Why do you
Uh,
think people have struggled obtaining lending?
Yeah, I think because, there's, first of all, 18,000 banks in the US. That's like, sometimes your deal might be that needle in the haystack. And I think for
Mm.
us, even though we have only 300, these are vetted lenders that deliver. They've taken care of over $1 billion in lending, and it's over a 97% match rate. So I think that is the problem is sometimes, even though it's 18,000 banks, some of them are all doing the same thing. So if you go to
Right.
100 banks that have the same guidelines, you're going to get declined 100 times because you don't fit that one. So for us, we made sure we took those 300 that cover A paper, B paper, C paper, even D paper type of lending from full documentation lenders to DSCR, bridge loans, hard money, private money, insurance lenders,
Okay.
online correspondent lenders. We covered that whole gambit in that 300 to make sure why we have a 97% match rate.
Awesome. Man, I love it. I love the information you shared. I love all we talked about. If folks want to get in touch with you, maybe to talk about some of your lending products or maybe talk about your consulting business, how do they get in touch?
Yeah, I think the best way right now is I'd love to provide my cell phone, 626-419-0123. I think text is going to be the best way to get a hold of me. I don't want your emails to go to spam. I can provide my email on a more call, but I have a spam filter, so I don't want that to be lost. But at least with my text, I look at my text on a 24/7 pretty much if I could. But I think text would be the best way. Phone calling, it might mark you as spam. There's so many filters now, guys.
Yeah.
So I prefer a cell phone, text. That's going to be the best way.
Got it. And then we'll put your number in the show notes. And I think I have your email address here. We'll put it in there. Guys, you can always try to send them an email. Yeah. But, I appreciate you coming out, Chris, and sharing all that information, guys. I hope, everybody at home listening took notes. Sounds like he's got some great lending products. If you're having trouble getting other lending, reach out or, talk to him about his consulting business to help you get into the game and grow. Chris, thank you again, guys. Hope you had a good time on the show. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Thanks so much, John. Take care. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.